Robo-Advisors are digital platforms that provide automated, algorithm-driven investment services with little to no human supervision. And the interest of using robo-advisors is growing nearly 20% year over year. It's known that millennial investors are driving the change from human-centric wealth advisor firms to robo-advisory services. But we think that's a myth, and we're here to tell you why. I am very excited to introduce Sanjay Deshpande, EVP and Head of Banking and Financial Services for Americas at Virtusa. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you. Thanks, Philippa, for having me. I'm first of all not a quintessential millennial, and I represent the Generation X here, and someone who has recently moved all his investments from a conventional bank to a robo-advisory firm. And I'm sure that sounds surprising to everyone as to why I would do that, because generally you expect millennials and Gen Z to do such things and take these decisions. When I reflect back, I also think that I've been associated to the technology services world and financial services industry for the last 23 plus years. And I've always been wondering that why is it so that I'm not practicing what I preach? And that made me think, given the advent of robo-advisors and the way they have grown over the last few years, I think it was time to take a call and move on.
Sanjay, why are we seeing this shift to robo-advisors?
I think there are quite a few reasons. I mean, first and foremost, it offers significant amount of flexibility, a lot of simplicity, and I think everyone looks for transparency when they are making these investment decisions, right? I mean, if I look at my own case as to why did I make that change or why did I decide in favor of robo-advisors, it was primarily because of the customer centricity. The experience that I had dealing with them right from day one was fantastic, which somehow I did not experience with banks. And I have been dealing with banks for last 2 decades. I think the user interface that they provide is extremely intuitive. I found it very easy to use. And more importantly, I don't have to worry about portfolio rebalancing. I don't have to worry about tax loss harvesting. These are great features which the robo-advisor provides you on its own, and it is done in an automatic manner.
What are some of the key challenges that you see for robo-advisories ahead?
I think there are quite a few challenges that I see. First and foremost is how do they remain profitable, right? At one end, banks are gearing up with their own robo-advisors. Fintech companies, every day there are new robo-advisors coming up. So if you were to fight the competition at one end and then at the same time drive profitability, that's definitely a big challenge. And more importantly, if you were to study the average portfolio sizes with the robo-advisory firms, they're pretty small. So how do you, first of all, ensure that the average portfolio size, which could be a few hundreds of dollars or a few thousands of dollars, that actually grows? So how do you garner additional wallet share to remain profitable? Unless you do that, the profitability quotient will always be a question mark. The second challenge, which I believe is around the adaptability quotient. So there are so many changes which are happening all around us. Events like pandemic, it could be changes pertaining to any kind of geopolitical scenarios. It could be changes pertaining to any new regulations coming our way. How do you embrace those regulations? How do you embrace those changes? And how do you, turn around quick upgrades? How do you drive additional robustness to your existing models, algorithmic models? I think that's going to be very, very critical aspect that robo-advisory firms need to look at.
Thank you, Sanjay. So lastly, what role do you see technology firms playing in the robo-advisory space?
I mean, let's look at, I will draw a crude analogy here, which is of our phones. Before iPhone came into our lives, we had normal phone instruments where there were so many buttons and so many menus to navigate through. And iPhone comes up with an instrument which had only one button on that entire device, right? The entire perspective there was not about coming up with a new device. It was all about coming up with something which can help resolve complexity, which can help drive simplicity, and which can help create extremely pleasurable customer experiences. That was the entire genesis of coming up with something like iPhone. And robo-advisory firms are no different. If you look at the customer journeys, if you look at the experiences people have, they will tell you the same thing. I mean, the ability to interact, engage, and communicate and transact has been made very simple, very easy to use. So I think that has been made possible only because of technology, right? The end user probably does not realize, but the technology working behind this, the artificial intelligence backed pre-trained models, or machine learning as a case in point, which is making it smarter day by day, right? So I think technology has a big role to play. And then if you were to look at the data, the role of data, right, it's going to be extremely critical as far as technology play is concerned, because how do you use this data, and how do you improve on an ongoing basis your entire platform? How do you use predictive analytics to come up with products which are customized to specific customer segments? How do you use real-time analytics for any kind of course correction that you may need midway, right? So I think those things definitely need to be sharpened further, and technology will continue to have a huge role to play here.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Philippa.
And we also thank our audience today who joined us. We look forward to see how technology, AI, and the power of human adaptation will change our future. My name is Philippa Nogani, and I head marketing for banking and financial services at Virtusa. Thank you.